Hello and welcome to the latest Craftmania Sunday Showcase. Today I'm going to introduce you to our brand new CD-ROM. This is our Tatty Buttons collection. Now if you've not used CD-ROMs before, I know we had a showcase a couple of months ago with one of these. This one's just as easy as that one was. They're so simple to use, you really shouldn't be afraid of them. I'm rubbish with technology and even I can master this. All we do is just pop the CD into the CD drive on your computer and it will appear something like this on your screen. Simply click enter and it will tell you a little bit of the backstory regarding Tatty herself. And then here it gives you the option of you could use the image composer, which I'll be honest I've avoided because I'm not quite that technology minded. So I've gone for my print ready images. So these are nice and simple because it's all ready for you to use. Now on here you can simply pick the image you wish to use. Now if you're not a big fan of Tatty, there are some lovely snowmen and presents and cats riding baubles and trees as well. But with Tatty in mind, we'll start off with her. So we'll click this image up there. And now it opens up so you've got all of these different options. So all of these will have that image used on them somewhere. So we have the backing papers, inserts, envelopes, decoupage, pyramage, topper sheets and invitage. So if we just click through these and give you a little glimpse at what you're going to get. So when we open up the backing papers one, you can see that we have the bold one, the faded one, then we have the same in a different image, and then at the bottom, instead of having them in a portrait design, we could also have them in a landscape design, which is great if you want to use them to obviously wrap brown cards or use for your inserts, equally the same. When you've picked an image you like, simply click it and it will open up. And then you have a bigger version of the picture that you may wish to print. You can then print that one, or you can queue it, or we can get rid of it if you don't like that one and pick another one. Once you've finished in that section, just click the back button in the top corner and we can go back to picking the next section. So these again are your inserts, and again already we have them all designed as a portrait, but if we click the landscape button it will swap the angle of them so you can have them for them cards too. Once again, if you click up to load it, it will show you the image how you'll be printing it, and you can also pick on this part whether you want them to be A5 or A6. So you can see that you're going to print both of them in one and cut them in half. Of course you don't have to use these for inserts, they would make lovely backing papers, and you could of course put decoupage in the faded out frame instead of your insert, but that's up to you. Coming out of the inserts, we'll go into envelopes. Now these I quite like the look of. What a lovely idea to have a matching envelope to go with your card design. And this again shows you all the different ways you can build them and the sizes. And we'll go back out of them and I'll show you the decoupage. And I was quite impressed with this because not only do you get the image like so, you can pick whether you want it in A5 or A6. So again, the size of the card. Tells you here as well you've got a page 1 of 2, which means that the next bit, instead of having to print that time and time and time again and then cut the bits out, you can actually pick by hitting page up and it will just give you the topper pieces for you to cut out and layer. So you're not printing things you don't need, you're only printing the layers you want, which will save you ink, which is always a bonus. Coming out of the decoupage, we'll have a little look at the pyramage. So again here, we can pick whether you want the rectangle, the oval, the square or the circle. And then when you click that, once again it will give you the option of if you want them for an A5 card or for an A6 card, meaning that you'll get smaller images. When we come out of that one, we then have our topper sheets. Now these again are really good because they've got the same image just compacted in lots of different sizes, which you could of course use for loads of different options. If we come out of them, we then have our invitage, and again on here we have that ready for you to print. So you've just got the same image 4 times and we just cut the middles out and layer them up. I've luckily made one of these, so I'll show you some cards shortly so you can see if you've not come across invitage before how they work. Now as I say, there is lots of different images on here, so if Tatty isn't your favourite image, it's not a problem. I really like the snowman, so I'll show you him as well, just to give you a little idea. Isn't he cute? So okay, that's basically the basics of the CD. As you can see, there is literally hundreds of different options between all of these, given all of the different things you can do with them. But I've made a few cards I'm going to show you. But before we jump onto them, I thought I would also show you just a few other printouts that I've made. So for instance, this is one of the large format decoupage sheets using the tatty image with the snowman, and that is the large cut-out pieces to layer on top of it. We then have another one of the big designs, so if you don't like tatty, you could just have just the snowman. Now this is one of the invitage designs. This is the oval of the bauble. And one of the things I do like with that as well is you've got the matching decoupage. Obviously this is the same with all of them, but we have the small design here, so we've got both of the cutouts there, which is good because you've got enough for 2 cards on 2 sheets, so good value for money. Then this is one of the envelopes printed, just so you can see how they work, and at the bottom here they give you full instructions on how to make them as well, which is nice and handy, not that they're difficult. Then we have one of the inserts printed, just to show you what they look like when they're done. And I love them because of where they've taken the image to make the background of these. You know the colours match perfectly with what you've printed. And where you're printing everything, because the different printers do print in different colours as such, you know it all coordinates and it's all matching. We then have another background, and then we have a bit of a bolder image one of our snowman, which I think is quite cute. And then a couple more just to give you a little glimpse at what else you could be getting with them. And another. And another. And then that sheet I showed you earlier of one of the invitages, this is one printed. So you can see quite simply, it does tell you on here in your instructions, but we start off with the base one and then cut out the pieces in the middle and then layer it up so it inverts inwards. So let's look at a few cards, shall we? This is one I've made with one of the decoupage images, but I actually quite liked it just as a topper. So although I have the pieces to cut out and layer on top on a different sheet, I didn't actually bother. I've just stuck with it as a flat one. Down the side here I've got a lovely die cut tree, and across the top here I've used one of our satin ribbons with a sheer centre. I don't know if you've seen them before, but I will just talk about them briefly. The red one, for instance, is a 58p one. We also do it in wider. This is the wider one, that was 78p. But they do come in lots of colours, so that is worth having a little look in store if you've not seen them before. Moving on to our next card, this is actually one of the invitages made, and this is an image I didn't show you. This is our very cute little mice with the mistletoe, which is really lovely. And you may be able to see that on camera, but I will upload some pictures as well, so you can see that that literally does just go in and stack in. And we just build them up with foam pads or silicone to give that effect. On the side here I've used one of our border dies of trees. I'll show you that in a little bit more detail a little later on. But I've just cut them to create a different sort of foresty effect on the side of my waterfall card. Moving on, I've gone for another one of the pyramide style toppers. And this one actually is a bit of a penny slider. So these all move if you want to, or you can position them where you wish and glue them as you want to. But it's just a different idea for an aperture card with a stacker in the middle, really. Moving along to our next card, we've gone for another one of the layered ones, and I've used a large snowflake cutter and cut it strategically to create 4 corners. In the side of there I've used our snowflake border die, which I'll show you in a moment, and just added that to the side. I've also folded the card in such a way that it's got a bit of a box to allow the depth for the actual image. Moving on to our last one, this is using one of the really large decoupage sheets that was on there. Now of course I've left all of my printed images quite flat, but you could varnish them to give them a bit more depth, or you could of course add a bit of glitter, especially being Christmas. A little bit of sparkle never hurt anyone. But this is one of the large ones, and down the side here I've used our die cut snowflake border. So we've spoke about the CD quite a bit. This is of course the Sunday showcase. So your actual CD-ROM should retail for $19.99, but on this week's offer they're only $5.99. So they're a proper little bargain this week. If you would like to get your hands on them, of course just post in the comments. We do only have limited stocks, and you are saving quite a considerable amount on these, so please do get your hands on them quickly. For the second part of your offer this week, you'll also receive 35% off of all of the dies I'm about to show you. If you're in store, they're the ones that are red when you look at the actual shelves. All of the red metal dies this is for Christmas. But we'll take you over and we'll show you the samples that we've made for the dies and explain a little bit about the prices. So to begin with, we have our free snowflakes. That one should be $10.99, but with your 35% off this week, that one's only $7.15. And you can see the example of what we've made of it just at the top here. Not all of these have been used on today's cards, but we'll highlight the ones that we have as we go. Next along we have the snowflake border. That was used on this card at the back here, just to do the sides, and on the card beside it, again on the edges. And that die is normally $8.99, but with your 35% off, that's only $5.85. Moving across, we have a single snowflake. I haven't used this one on the cards, but you can see what it looks like on our little sample up here. That one is normally $4.99, but with the 35% off, it's only £3.25. Then we have the large Christmas tree, which on our sample we've really added a bit of gold glitter to give it a bit of sparkle. And we used that on the edge of this card, just popping out from the side, and added a few gems. That one is normally $10.99, but with your 35% off this week, so it's $7.15. We then have the large snowflake that's really sort of scroll work. This is the one that's been used on the corners of this card, just cut into pieces. And on the sample up here, it's a bit curly because it doesn't like the heat, but we've done it on parchment, and you can see it's a really lovely design, that one. That one's normally $8.99, but you get your 35% off this week, so it's only $5.85. Moving along, we have our tree one. This is lovely. We've used this in a few of our lessons recently as well. Lovely handy die to have in your collection. This one is normally $9.99, but you get 35% off, so it's only £6.50. That's the one that we've added on the sides of this card, so you can see that it's not only a single border, you can layer it to create quite nice effects as well. Moving across, we have our little flourish die. This one should be $5.99, but with your 35% off, it's only £3.90. Then we have another one of the snowflakes. Now, the smallest one of this is one of the ones we've used in the centres here for our little snowflake flowers. Now, that set of 3 dies is normally $10.99, but with your discount this week, it's only £7.15. Moving along, we have this gorgeous little bell, which isn't only good for Christmas, but it's great for weddings as well as other occasions. That one should be $4.99, but this week will only be £3.25. Then we have another large snowflake, gorgeous large design, this one. This one should be $8.99, but again makes it only £5.85 for this week. Next one along in the collection is this gorgeous frame one. This one should be $10.99, but again is only £7.15. Then we have our gorgeous reindeer. That one again should be $8.99, but is only £5.85 with your discount this week. And lastly, we have this set of 3 snowflakes. Now this one is $10.99, but is reduced to £7.15. So that's your second offer this week. If you would like any of those held for you, please do get in the comments quite quickly, because we really do have quite limited stocks for these dies. As we all know, Christmas is fast approaching. I think we're down to something like 8 weeks to go. So stocks on Christmas items are running low now. If you would like to plump for all of the dies, if you haven't had any of these before, they would normally retail for £116.87, but you can buy all 19 in the collection, and that's only £76.05, which, given the fact that will cover you for Christmases for years, that's quite a little bargain. So once again, just to recap today, we have our cd-Rom at $5.99, and you have your 35% off of all of your dies. If you'd like any of the items that you've seen on today's video posted to you, please let us know in the comments. We can arrange that too. You can pay via PayPal, or you can pay over the phone by card, whatever is easier for you. Thank you for watching this week's showcase. I look forward to seeing you all next week when we have another new product to share with you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.